Well, hello everyone. I'm glad you could join us tonight. Tonight we got a special presentation to talk about circadian rhythm, and that is something that a lot of people are having good challenges with. And we'll get into that. We have a special guest by the name of Heather tonight, and she will talk about how she has used PBM in her life and what it's done, as well as when it comes to PBM, the area of using light for Parkinson's for treating into the brain. Now, so that's going to happen just in a few minutes here. And the first thing also I want to mention is we have a special place where you can go into on our website and sign in to, there's a pop-up that'll come up, and that'll sign you, you can sign in for a separate draw from the normal podcast that we have. And that special draw will it's more of a point system. And the more points you earn, the highest point total for any individual will allow them to have will allow them to receive one of the super pomps. As well, second runner-up will be able to get a 20% discount off of our devices, and third runner-up will get 15% off. I decided to increase it to 15% because that's going to help somebody big time. So please look for the pop-up, and how you end up getting higher numbers is by recommending sending a link to some of your friends, and whoever signs up for them to win one or to get in on the draw, they will help add points to you as well. So anyways, with all that said, let's get going with tonight's program, and we're just going to start off with a short video. PBM stands for Photobiomodulation. Photo being light, bio being biology, and light, well, light coming from some kind of source. In this case, PBM is used to help stimulate healing in the body, whether it's an LED, whether it's a laser, whether it's the sun, but that light comes through the skin layers, and actually the cells are able to absorb that light, converting it to energy, and then there's a host of different processes that are stimulated because of that light. So you can speed up healing, you can do different things that is very beneficial for the cells themselves, for healing, for reduction of inflammation, and a host of other things. Kerber USA is a company that we have set up to promote healing for the US and around the world. We would like to see this technology help a lot of people. We use LED technology where we can provide high amounts of light into the body, and that stimulates healing. I'd like to introduce you to the SunPowerLED Palm Ultimate. This device here has the most power of the series of devices. This light can produce a huge amount of light that can enter into the body and help speed up that healing. In this device, we have two different wavelengths. It's 660 nanometer, and as you can see, it's very bright, but it's very effective. You will cause a systemic effect with this wavelength of light. The other wavelength is 810. It's not very visible, but it penetrates very deep, and that can help as well reach the target that you're trying to reach. The main part about this light is that we have the power behind it and the large surface area that can reach very deep into the body. We believe that our product is the most powerful LED cluster under the sun. We have specification of this device of 150 milliwatts per square centimeter. And that is over this entire area of 40 square centimeters. It also provides a wall of light that comes through the skin and is able to reach depths that have never been able to be done before with other light products on the market. There's an interesting biblical passage in Malachi 4:2 that talks about the healing that comes from the rays of the sun. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to provide healing with these rays. PBM has also been shown in various studies to be able to help promote healing in wounds such as diabetic ulcers, venous ulcers, and other areas where cuts or burns or other types of wounds are on the skin level. If you have any questions about PBM and how our light device, the SunPowerLED Palm series, can help you, please reach out to us and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Okay, so with that, we're going to start off with the recording first of Heather that I did earlier today. She couldn't be on with us live, but I just recorded that. So let's go to the interview with Heather. Hi, Heather.
Hi. Hello.
Tonight's special guest is going to talk about how she has used light for PBM therapy or photobiomodulation for certain things that she has issues with. And so, Heather, welcome to our podcast tonight. And
Thank
I hope many people who are watching this will learn about PBM as to what it might do. Because I don't know, was there a time, Heather, when you thought you didn't think light would do anything? How did you come across light and the light therapy?
I was in a dress shop in our little town, and a woman there, I had shared what my husband, he had a broken femur, and he ended up with a hematoma, which was very painful. Surgeon said it could last as long as a year, and he was in a lot of pain. So she mentioned to me, the woman at the shop, she had a friend who'd had a knee replacement, and every day now, after, with lots of pain still, she was using infralight, red light therapy or something. And so I put that in my mind. And when I got home, I remembered my daughter's in-laws had used something, a light therapy. They had gone somewhere. So then I phoned them, and this is right around Christmas 2022. And remember, it's Christmas time, really busy. And they gave me Tom Kerber's phone number and explained what they were using. He had some marks on his head, and they were going there. He said he's an inventor, so, and this is new, but it would work. And so, and because I knew this woman in the dress shop had helped with the pain, her friend, then I phoned Tom. I think I got him in the car, and I had explained my husband has probably at least 5 different health issues. He has Parkinson's, and then he had this broken leg and the hematoma, which had a lot of pain. So he's also celiac and throat swallowing problems. So he deals with a lot, and I love him, and we do a lot of praying. And so I felt the Lord was just moving my steps towards this being something that could help him. So I phoned Tom, and they were able to send around Christmas time. It's amazing. One of the palm handheld light therapies for us.
Like something like this.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly like this.
Exactly. Yes. So we started using it. He also had told me when we were talking on the phone, I could use it on his scalp, on his brain for Parkinson's. short times, once a day sort of thing. And so, but the main thing was the hematoma. He had a bump on the side of his leg where he had broke his femur. So we started using that. Probably after a couple of months, I don't know how long, he didn't want to do it anymore. So we set it aside. So 2023, I was doing leaves, raking leaves and bagging them. And when they get heavy, it's heavy. So weighted down and putting them out at the curb. And after a time, my knee was bothering me terribly. So I went to the doctor and she said, I thought maybe a tendon or something was hurt, something. And she said it was bursitis and that I would use a brace. My husband and I both, we like to go more to the health side of things, but also get to the root of the problem and deal with that rather than just a bandage of another pill. And as I said, with Parkinson's, he's on a lot of pills, so medication. So I went to a chiropractor, and then I said, I'm going to be using this palm-held light therapy laser on my knee. And I would say within a short time, I would say maybe less than 2 weeks, there was relief, and I knew this was helping me a lot, and very thankful. Also, when you're doing the lifting, the bags and that, then it bothers your back. So I was using it also on my back for a spot that was painful. And so very, very thankful. And yes, so that's sort of my story. And we are thankful to have the light therapy. And I remember you sharing a story with me when I did phone you about a young boy down in the States, maybe Tennessee. He had broke or hurt his ankle with an axe or something.
Yeah,
and
pickaxe.
yeah, and he was able to walk again. And and so
In a very short amount of time, they had said it was going to, for him, it was going to be 6 to 9 months before he was walking. And
wow.
within 1 month he was walking. So that's the kinds of things that are possible. So you were able to use it on your back.
Knee.
And what
My
did
knee.
you did it once a day? Did you do it twice a day, or what did
I
you
would usually do
remember?
twice a day. I usually
Right.
did twice a day. And
Okay. And do you remember how long you used it on that area?
if I
Five,
have
ten
any,
minutes?
oh yeah, 5 or 10 minutes at least. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And you used both wavelengths, the one that's red, the bright red, and then you can switch it to
Right.
the near
Yes.
infrared, which penetrates deeper.
The brighter light penetrates deeper, is it?
The other way around, the dim
Oh,
actually penetrates
penetrate.
deeper. It's the bright red that is, both of them are very helpful. So that's why you would have used both of them.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, all right. And has anybody else in the family, just curious, anybody else in the family
Um,
needed any help, or?
Actually, the couple of our daughters, the in-laws that I had phoned for the information, she has some arthritis, I believe in her hands. And so when they were here, because we invited them over for a meal, just that's easier for my husband, have company here. And
Right.
she was saying that she wasn't using it as often. And so I brought ours out so she could have it when she was here to use it just a little bit. And because short time is a benefit. And then
Yeah.
it made her remember to, put it out. So yeah, I leave it out. I leave mine out so I can
Yeah,
easily get.
that's key. That's absolutely key. If you put it away in a drawer somewhere, you don't think about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people that I've talked to over the years, they said, I couldn't believe it. I had all this pain, and and I didn't think about it. And then finally, all of a sudden, I thought about the light, and here I've been dealing with it for days or a week or whatever. And oh yeah, I got the light. So then they go and use it on the
Yes,
area, and they're like, wow, like I can't believe I didn't remember. So leaving it out is a good thing to do to
yes,
help.
yes, yes, yes.
So
Very
that's
thankful.
excellent.
Yeah, yeah.
And then now you also found out about Parkinson's a little bit. So
Yes. So we get, because my husband's had Parkinson's for over 10 years, and we get the Parkinson's magazine from Southwestern Ontario. And
yeah,
in the back page of this one that just came, they had a picture of this, almost like this light therapy on this man's scalp. And it's study that's being done at the University of Western Ontario,
right,
in
right.
Ontario. And so that's why I end up calling again, because I thought, all right, maybe this is going to help my husband, because sometimes I love my husband dearly. Sometimes I have to just do a little bit of a push so he might try something. And maybe it takes a little longer. I mean, I look at, if you're dealing with any problem and it's been a couple of years, well, it might take a couple of years to get better
Yeah,
rather
yeah,
than get up
exactly.
in a couple
Yeah,
of weeks. Yes.
yeah.
So, yeah. So the Parkinson's, the shuffling is, yeah, as I said, he's had it for more than 10 years. Shuffling now is tough. And as I said, he did break his femur. That was stumbling over his feet. So if this, well, I believe this can help, and I'm ready to
Well,
put time
we have
into it.
right, yeah, we have right now a Parkinson study, case studies have started
Good.
about a month and a half ago on 3 people. So, and the psychiatrist who's overseeing it is very pleased with the improvement that she's been able to see even in a month and a half. Now that's going to be fully put together in another, probably about another month. It's got a few weeks, excuse me, it's got a few weeks left of this part of the study, and they've been analyzing everything, and so we'll be able to put that out there. But yes, we believe that we can make a difference. We do have the helmet device, which makes it a lot faster to use, but it
Yes.
is
Yes.
possible to spend some time and use it with the light itself. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, thank you, Heather, for sharing. Is there anything else that comes to mind?
Um, just know that God is bigger than Parkinson's, and so I just know that He can answer, and He still heals today. Well, look at this. Like my knee is I know is better, and the same as my back. And I use this, and as I said, I leave it out on the end table where I sit with lots of my books, and maybe even it would help him with other issues that he's dealing with. So
Right.
very
Yeah,
thankful.
and you know that's the thing. It's there. It's. I believe that light is something that He's created in the first place. I mean, it says, "Let there," in Genesis. It says, "Let there be light." So,
Yeah.
and the light was good, and I believe that all I'm doing is taking a little bit of that red light, red or near infrared light that's in coming from the sun, and having it in this device, and then we've been able to see so many people being helped,
Right.
because it's not easy to be outside and
Right.
for several hours and get a light treatment. This is much more intense. So even though that there has been some treatments that have gone on over hundreds of years ago using light, or thousands of years ago even, some of the stuff has been uncovered that they used light to treat people with certain things. So now it's just
Oh,
in a
good.
convenient form that you can plug in. So
Yeah.
I want to thank you,
Yeah.
Heather, so much for coming on tonight. Really appreciate it. And all the best to you and your husband. And
Thank you.
we'll keep you guys in prayer. All the
Right.
best. Bye
Thank
for
you.
now.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
15 years back, I realized that light could make a huge difference on the body. I ended up designing this very powerful light using LED technology. With this amount of very high power density, it can reach through the tissues and travel right to the joints. But the key is that the power density and the area is extremely important to deliver that light into that. The mitochondria receives that light and converts that energy into the cell. So it's like giving the cell super high octane fuel, and they run like a jet, and they're able to do all the things for repair in that. What are the products we have? Well, we have a small device, which is actually large when it comes to light therapy. You have a fairly large area of light and a high power density that can be used for different parts of the body, like your fingers, shoulder, back, neck, knees, ankle, anywhere on the body. And then we have what's called the mini canopy, which is about a foot square in size. And then we have our full-size canopy, which is basically 6 of the mini canopies. And then we have another device, which is the helmet, and that device can help for mental issues, for brain injuries, for concussions, for PTSD, TBI, all of those kinds of things. And there's new research out there that shows it could be helpful for not only strokes, but dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's, and just different brain issues. Our plans are to move this technology into every area of the world where there's pain and inflammation, which is basically everywhere, and to expand that so people understand all the applications where this technology can be used to help them in their health in the body as a wellness device. People are looking for how they can treat themselves without drugs.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is go to the part about circadian rhythm and what that's all about. So here we go in just a moment. There we go. So this is what we're talking about, is light therapy and photobiomodulation for circadian rhythm. First of all, what is circadian rhythm? Most people don't realize that light has such a huge part to play in our lives. Just talk to those that are on shift work and how it really messes with them once they get out of the cycle. Some people actually can flip their cycle and they have to sleep during the day and they can't, and they stay awake all night. What happens is our body is looking for that sunrise, and the sunrise has specific wavelengths that are coming through. And apparently there's a red. I'm going to get into this deeper, but there's red, there's some blue, and ultraviolet that is showing up. And that is starting your clock and saying, now the day is going to begin. So with melatonin is started and or given a jump start. And what that does for you is gives you that full day of awakeness, and melatonin is used throughout the body for all kinds of mechanisms. It's a really special substance, and really light is used to trigger an elevated amount of the melatonin. So, and then there's in the evening, usually the sunset gives you more reds in the evening. And so it's very important that we would be outside morning and, late in the evening, or in the evening before the sun comes down. And that would set our alarm clock, or our circadian rhythm, so to speak, and we'd be able to go to sleep on time. But obviously that's not possible for most of us who work indoors in office environments. And some of you don't even see the sun because you're always stuck going from
staying in hallways, going from one building to another. And then another problem is that when you're in some of these high-rise buildings, the windows have very high filter material in them, and actually gets rid of anything in the UV spectrum, which is very important to us, especially UVB, which comes in at 297 nanometer, and that creates the vitamin D in your body. So it really, you need to be outdoors to catch some sunlight and get your UVB exposure. And with that, that creates vitamin D. Interesting. So it's really something that happens on the surface of the skin. And all mammals have this requirement for UVB. So how would a bird, which is covered with feathers, or how would a dog with a heavy coat of fur, how would they create vitamin D? It turns out that their body secretes certain oils on the feathers or on the on this fur, and as the animal cleans itself, it's ingesting its daily vitamin D. So just it's outdoors, and that's how it manages to get its vitamin D for the day, just by cleaning itself. So pretty interesting. But anyways, light therapy. So mechanisms supporting circadian health. It influences the SCN to regulate melatonin production and align sleep and wake cycles. Blue light in the range of 460 to 480 nanometer supports the melatonin and promotes alertness. And PBM is very, very helpful because it enhances the mitochondrial function by stimulating the cytochrome C production, the cytochrome C oxidase, and it reduces inflammation and regulates melatonin, indirectly aiding in sleep. And a third point, it's not on this here, is that when you have pain, how many times does that wake you up in the middle of the night? And I went through an episode there where it makes it very impossible to sleep in a continuous fashion because you keep waking up with pain and you try and mitigate that pain. Next slide, please. So it improves the sleep-wake cycle alignment. So that's really kind of like sets your alarm clock, especially for shift workers and those that undergo jet lag. It was pretty interesting that we had at one of the shows, we were in England, and the number of people that were having severe jet lag from coming from different areas. And when they went under the helmet, they felt far better. As a matter of fact, I remember at one of the shows, a woman had come in from the Far East, and she was really struggling. And she went under the helmet, and she felt really good right after that. And she said she was supercharged the rest of the day. So it really does help things go right that way. So it enhances sleep quality, reduces insomnia, supports mental health by improving mood and reducing anxiety, and potential to modulate the SCN for better circadian regulation. Now, there is scientific evidence, and you can see that light therapy has shown effective in regulating circadian rhythms. There's the documentation there to look up. PBM improves mitochondrial function and reduces inflammation. That's by Hamlin. And there's another study there by indicating enhanced sleep quality with PBM. Next slide, please.
So what I mentioned in the beginning is morning exposure of light 6 to 9 a.m. To advance the circadian phase, and evening light with the evening light for to actually help you as well. And I'll just mention I had somebody that was a good friend of mine and also employee who really struggled with SAD, seasonal affective disorder. And what I suggested is they needed that exposure first thing in the morning, like as soon as they woke up. And so what a person can do is, yes, you can go down to your your convenience store or your um, oh drugstore, and you can buy one of the seasonal effective lights. You might pay anywhere from $100 to $200, but let me give you the low cost version of that. Go find one of those table lamps, the old style. You know, take the shade off the top where you screw in the bulb. Screw in a good quality bulb, maybe like a Philips white bulb, one with a kelvins of about 6,000 kelvins, which is a cool light, or they call it sometimes cold. It's got that bluish tinge to it. Anyways, you screw one of those in, and you could basically put it on the desk by your side and not far from you, let's say 2 feet away, turn it on and just go about working on your computer, whatever. But that 100-watt light bulb, I'm not suggesting the old incandescent. I'm now talking about the new blue LED versions. Oh, sorry, white LED bulbs, and just turn that on. And make sure you use a Philips. You really don't want the light flashing on you, because that can also mess with things. There is such a thing as flicker, and if you get a really good bulb, they don't have much in the line of flicker. So that would be my suggestion. And the fellow that did do this, and there's been others too that I recommended this to, and they saw the results too, but it really helped them. He was also struggling with some depression, and both of them cleared up just by getting that first exposure first thing in the morning of 10-15 minutes of the very strong white light from a 100-watt light bulb. Okay. Intensity, you're looking at like 10,000 lux, then you will be looking at about 20 to 30 minutes. So when it comes to photobiomodulation, the wavelengths are 600 to 700 nanometer, and near infrared is it's 800 to 1200, 1300 nanometer. That's the near infrared range. And you could use red light in the evening to help you. Now, if you're watching TV, you might have learned about, seen it out there, that there's actually blue blocking glasses that help you block the blue light in the evening, because blue light will actually keep you going. So it'll stimulate you. And that's the last thing you want to do if you want to have a good night's rest. You want to have that exposure to light without the bright blue. So if you're looking closely at a computer screen, that can really mess with you, or watching TV at those hours. So they look strange. These glasses, they have a yellow color to them, and any blue light gets totally blocked by that. It gets absorbed by those glasses. Next slide, please. So it's light therapy is a very effective way in regulating the circadian rhythms and treating SAD. And PBM is an absolutely beautiful complementary thing to do for sleep and mood improvement. So with that, I'm going to, sorry, one more. Oh yeah,
we have the one on the eye where, sorry, we missed it. Go to the first, was it the first slide? There we go. Did people see this on the left hand, on the right hand side? You can see the rods, the cones reaction, and the whether it's the picking up the so the S cones, the first one that you see there is your sensitivity to the blue, and the next one is the sensitivity to the green, and you're going to be picking is sensitive at the 535 nanometer peak. And then the reds are down in the 600 to 570 area is the peak. So those are how your eyes pick that up. And then I learned that more recently they found that there's another way that your eye picks up light, and you don't really see it, but it's something that can help you in your being able to shut down. So with that, I'm going to go to our commercials at this point in time. Tell everybody about our light technology. So we have different palm lights, as I showed you before. Briefly, just popped it up. We have the Palm series. It's a device this big, and it treats the area of your palm. That's why we call it the palm, but you can use it for treating any area on the body with this red, and the red will be able to be absorbed by the blood, highly by the blood, and even though that it's absorbed and doesn't travel as deep, it's really beneficial to the blood, because the blood can absorb it and give energy to the mitochondria. Then the mitochondria is able to use the energy to create ATP, which then has a whole pile of other factors. We also have this is with our ultimate, we have the 810 nanometer. It doesn't look very impressive, but you can feel the energy coming from it. This light wavelength actually penetrates far deeper than the red that you've seen there, the 660. We have also made a device called the Super Palm, and the Super Palm, oops, I'm just tangled up in a wire here. There we go. The Super Palm has the same 660 nanometer wavelength and the 1050 nanometer wavelength, and the 1050, you can't even see the 1050 nanometer. So if you looked at it, you wouldn't see it at all. The camera is able to pick it up a little bit, and so that's the 1050, which can penetrate a little bit deeper. So those are our palm lights. Then we have what's called the mini canopy, which is this device here. I'm just running a little short. It's actually about, just move it up the stand here. It's actually about 12 inches wide. We're not seeing, I don't know. Okay. Anyways, it's about 12 inches wide, and 9 inches is the main board. You can basically think of it about foot square, as the light does go this way a little bit further and a little bit further that way. The light coming off of this is, we still have the two wavelengths. This is the 660 nanometer, and this is the 810. One thing we do have that with our devices is we have a very, very high power density. So that power density allows you, so here's the palm light, and all I'm going to do is put it like this, and you're going to see how even that light is over that whole area. And that's really important because there's no hot spots on there, which means we can crank up the light energy very high. And as long as we don't go beyond a certain amount, there's no individual location that will get overly hot. We have designed it so that there's airflow that see we call this the knobby ring, and you can see these indents in here. That allows your skin to breathe, so it's not in contact with the light. And that allows you to have the type of energy that we have coming out of our unit. We also have the, I'll just show you the difference. So there's other devices like these type of devices out there. And the challenge is that they may say that, oh yeah, you have the same power as we do. Well, if you only measure it right, see there it is there. Okay, if you only measure it right over top that, so there's the unit. If you measure it right over top of that, yeah, you know what? You might get close, might. But what do we have? We have a very continuous light over the whole area. So we don't just drop a few spots of light on your shoulder with some devices like this. We have a continuous amount of light. We call it the wall of light, trademark, where it goes like that, and it does help to increase the depth that one would get. If you did have the spotted design out there, then it's not going to get that much depth. People ask me, well, how do you compare this light to what they have? And one thing a person can do is they can go to my website and go on the research tab and go down to a box that you'll see a tab, or not a tab, but a page. And that's about, it says about the comparison guide for looking at our device against some of these other devices with a very low output power. Way I say it to some people, if you're trying to treat your shoulder and you start off with, it's kind of hard to do on camera because everything flips on you. But if you took one of the very large panels and you squeezed it down to about there, now you're getting close to the power that we have coming out of our unit. So that is very important to take that, to have that kind of power density in order to reach deeper in. So then we also have the same type of concept. By the way, that mini canopy is equivalent to 15 of the palm lights. So you can do a very large area all at the same time, which really is nice when you're dealing with areas of the body that you just don't have a little tiny spot of problems like a muscle spot somewhere. So you can treat all the muscles around that area. So this is our helmet that we have. We have the 2 wavelengths as well. We have the 660 nanometer wavelength. And if I put my hand in the middle, you'll feel the energy going in. There's like 25 optical watts of power that's coming out of our LED devices. And you may wonder, why does it have this strange looking outside on it? Well, because we're actually cooling each one of these pods, just like we do with our palm units. That each one of these devices has a separate little fan inside of it to draw the heat away, and because we want to keep the LEDs nice and cool. And when they're running cooler, as in about 45 degrees C or around 110 Fahrenheit, around that area, the LEDs will be also more efficient than running at 170 degrees Fahrenheit or something to that effect. So that's the 660, and you can see the little spots of light in there. They don't really show up very well, but that gives you an idea what happens when it comes to the other wavelength. You don't see it, but if I put my hand inside, I will definitely feel it. So the 810, so we have all of our devices have the 660 nanometer and the 810 nanometer, or they have 660 nanometer and 1050. That's our best models that we have, is with the 1050. The 1050 nanometer is a longer wavelength, so it has potential to get a little bit deeper. That may be extra important when it comes to trying to treat the brain for different brain issues. So now I'm going to get into the questions that are sent to us, and please remember you can always go to our website and email us at info@SunPowerLED. That's info@sunpowerled.com, and ask us any questions. Okay, so how long should you leave a palm light in a particular spot? 1 minute or 5 minutes? Okay, so what we're recommending, Darlene, is that a person would take, thank you for your question, by the way, you would take the device, and depending on the type of thing you're treating. So if you were treating your fingers, it really doesn't take much energy, much light at 660 nanometer or even the 810 to go through your fingers. So in this case, you'd want to do 1 minute of the red. And we always start with the red because it's always possible that you improve, or it does work out that way, that you improve the blood flow through the area. And then you turn around and switch it to the 810 or the 1050 nanometer and get better penetration. So for a hand, you might do 1 minute, 1 minute. For an elbow, you might look at 3-4 minutes of the red and maybe 6-7 minutes of the near infrared on that elbow. If it's a small child, you could have it shorter than that. If you have a lot of extra weight on board, you're going to have to treat longer, because the fat will reduce the amount of energy getting through. So we've had people being helped with, let's say, hip pain. Now, the hip is going to have to travel much, much further, even though the red light won't reach the hip socket area that you have. Still would recommend that you do like 5 minutes of the red and 10 minutes of the near infrared. And you could do 2 or 3 spots if you wanted to really bathe that whole area. You'll be benefiting that. So that's with the wavelengths. And again, when it comes to the 1050 nanometer units with the 1050, you can do it a little bit faster as well. So hopefully that helps. Okay, Ralph is asking, is there any device for long distance journey, jet lag? The use of the palm can help for this circadian. Yes. The only thing we do not produce is blue out of our light. So it's still possible that the red light, it can be very helpful in that whole thing as far as traveling. And by the way, if you're traveling, one thing we do not have on our devices, lithium batteries, and we don't do that for a strong purpose. A couple of reasons is, one is we'd have a very large battery on the back of the unit, and that'd make it very heavy, and then you'd have to be changing out batteries and everything else. We just plug into a 24-volt medically approved power supply with a fairly long cord on it, so you can plug in the wall and be almost across the room and still be being able to treat without any issues. So, and the other thing is, you can put this on your carry-on. As a matter of fact, just this last weekend, and that may be why you might have noticed I'm just a little slower than my normal self. And that's because I had a half an hour sleep the other night on a red-eye flight, and it's still with me, that coming across. But I've used the light, but it's still not 100% yet. So I know because of the time zones, it messed with me a bit. But and I'm a little tired. So hey, there you go. But the light can be very beneficial for that. So a person can treat their brain with the light. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I've been working around quite a number of doctors and researchers, and it's really beautiful what that can do. And there's a lot more out there. If you go on my research tab, scroll down to research database, there's over 7,500 research articles about using light on all different kinds of indications. And the only thing to keep in mind is that the
some of those lights were actually pretty low in optical power, which if it was just to treat the skin, no problem. But when you got to treat deeper areas, it may not be quite as effective or effective at all. But that's something to keep in mind. Next question there. Okay. Ruth is asking, is there research or anecdotes for PBM in managing electro hypersensitivity? I am not aware of anything, so if there's anybody out there that has, let me know, has any information on that. So Glenn is mentioning, I avoid blue light as much as possible at night using blue blocking glasses. Yes, and take a melatonin supplement to help me stay asleep. Could PBM light therapy lessen the need or replace the oral tablet? There is no doubt that red light on its own can help improve melatonin levels in the body. So it's something that's a very good question, Glenn. And it's very possible that it could help those that don't want to take melatonin as a pill, use light. Okay. So Glenn is also asking, I run and recently tore my meniscus on my left knee. Would PBM help with the associated pain? Absolutely. We have been able to see where it helps reduce the inflammation. And the neat part about that is that when you reduce the inflammation, you get loss of pain is always nice. And also you're going to help speed up the recovery. So it's really important to use light therapy on those areas where you have some kind of injury. And if you go into surgery, this has been asked lots of times, is it helpful to do the area before surgery? And yes, it is. And it's kind of like it, and they know this with athletes as well, that push their bodies to the limit, that if they do the light therapy before, they have a much better performance. And when it comes to getting under the knife for some kind of operation or surgery, that's a trauma that's going to happen. It's going to be, and the thing about it is, if you do light therapy before that surgery, it'll be very helpful in this before and after, be very helpful in speeding up the healing. So Elizabeth is saying, thank you. I did send you an email to you with other details, but if you can mention quickly how to use my Super Palm for dry eye, I would appreciate it. Yes, we have seen, that's beautiful that we've been able to see dry eye, lack of the fluids that keep your eye moist. The tear ducts aren't working properly. It can help that. And also, I just want to mention about how light can help anybody undergoing chemotherapy. They can end up with dry mouth. They can end up with what's called oral mucositis, which is where the whole inside wall of your mouth breaks down, and it's just one great big giant mess. And light if you're using PBM during that, you can actually avoid having these side effects of the chemotherapy. As well, it helps for xerostomia, where you are not producing enough saliva. Darlene is mentioning, I saw you with Dr. John Laurence using the palm light over your eyes to reduce eye floaters. I would like to try using my palm light over my eyes, but want to be sure I could use it with the red light, but should not use it on the near infrared. No, you can use it with both wavelengths. And what we've been able to see a number of people help improve the wellness of their eyes by using closing their eyelids. Okay, everybody, closing your eyelids, and that's key because the eyelid will diffuse the light in all directions. So there's no chance of any hot spots on the back of the retina, and it'll create a very uniform light field that'll go throughout the eye and help the eye. So 1 minute with the eyelids closed, 1 minute of the red, 1 minute of the near infrared, and do that on each eye. So 4 minute total treatment for both eyes. Okay. Bruce Howard is asking, so are football teams using the palm at games since they have a lot of injuries? How I wish they're starting to use the beds, the large beds, light beds. But the palm lights would be ideal for sports because they provide so much energy, and we've been able to see where injuries occur that you can really help speed up the healing of that joint. So I think sometimes the trainers don't want to try anything new, and that's unfortunate. Okay, next question. Does the palm help with inflammation after knee replacement surgery? Absolutely, and it'll help gain your range of motion. Please have a look at some of the past videos that we have, and you can see how light has been used to really speed up healing, both before, as I mentioned, before the actual surgery, and then after as well. So we're coming up to the 8 o'clock mark. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, and do send your questions. Okay, I got one more question that popped in here, but do send your questions to info@SunPowerLED. And there was one question here by Rose. Does the palm help with numb toes? And it's a case, Rose, with being able to find where is the problem. So sometimes the problem can be pinched nerves in the knee, can be pinched nerves in the hip, can be pinched nerves back on the spinal column. I do know that this has been able to help with neuropathy and of different forms, and really help get that feeling, getting the nerves to work properly again. And usually they get pinched the nerve stops functioning because of being pinched. And that pinched situation usually is occurring because there's inflammation in the area. And so the inflammation then, as it gets more inflamed, is shutting down the nerve, hence the numbness, hence the neuropathy. So one person in particular I know was 92 years old, and she knew my mother, and she couldn't walk very well because she had numbness in her one foot. And, so she says, what do I do? Do I treat my feet? And I says, okay, well, think about, when did this happen? And what did you do? When did you notice it? And in her case, it was a surgery she had about 3-4 years earlier, and this numbness came on. So it was a surgery on her spine. And I suggested that she should try using the light on the area, just on the spine where the surgery was done. And sure enough, in a few days, she had her feeling back in her foot at 92. So whether it's this light, PBM can help anywhere on the body, whether it's the bottom of the foot to the top of the head, wherever there's cells in your body, this PBM can have a major impact. So I want to thank you again for joining us. Remember to go to our website and click on the pop-up that comes up to register for the for your chance to win additional Palm unit, a Super Palm, $1,900 value, as well as helping us to get the word out. So please sign up and tell your friends about this. It helps us, and when you help us, we can help others. So thank you. And I'll just say our next thing will be, no, it won't be. It won't be December 24th. I am going to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and we will see you in the new year. So we will have a draw come January, beginning of January, for those that have watched us. Every time you watch us through these webinars, you gain a ballot for that month. So if you watch us 4 weeks in a row, you will get 4 ballots entered. And then we do a draw, and somebody will win an ultimate from that draw. So thank you again, folks, for joining us. Remember, oh, and there's also some really good videos that have just come up on our webinar. On our website, and there's 2 very neat interviews by Ari Witten, and I'm really appreciative of Ari and what he did to do the interview with me. And there's a lot of information we covered. By the way, some people might wonder about this tie that I'm wearing. I don't know if you saw the bottom part, but it looks like I'm not plugged in. Well, this is an earthly source of power, limited to 15 amps. I'm plugged into an unlimited supply of power. So anyways, Lord bless you guys, everyone out there. Have a great week, a fantastic Christmas, and we'll see you in the new year. Bye for now.